country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. You know, the old field of dreams. Yep. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm Dauber.
And my name's the Indy Kid.
Our good friend Chuck, man, always posting in the Facebook group talking about how closed caption says Talkin VAWLS, B-A-L-L-S. He always has, seems like every video he comments to tell me what the closed caption reads out when I'm spitting words out. But anyways, let's get going here. Do us a favor, guys. Let's do it bright and early. Hit that thumbs up. Share out the link. YouTube is being weird. I couldn't even find the stream like for a couple of minutes right there. I don't know what's going on. Share out the link. Put it on Twitter. Put it on Facebook. Let somebody know that Talkin VAWLS is live. We would greatly appreciate it. And like I said, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Let's get it out of the way early. Somebody hit the thumbs down 5 minutes before we went live. That's fine too. The chat was here. The chat was hanging out. They were speculating, trying to figure out exactly who hit that thumbs down. So let's run down the chat. Let's see who's here, and let's see what that speculation leads to. John Hill in the house. What's up? John says, JP already hit the thumbs down. IC86 is here. Says Dan Mullen is in the house hitting the thumbs down. Jonathan Lawrence in the house. Welcome, Jonathan. Says, nope, it was Lane Kiffin. John Hill with another suggestion. Maybe... Who's blaring their music? Come on, Dauber. Is this your first live show? Is this your first live show, Dauber? John Hill says it could also be Harrison Bailey. Billy H in the house says, looking forward to that Nova game. Billy, you better tune in because Saturday it's going to be Talkin VAWLS live all day long. Dauber and the Indy Kid going live immediately after the Nova game. We're going to regroup, reset, watch Tennessee and South Alabama, and then we'll do Talkin VAWLS live again. Might be the first time, I think, in the history of the channel. 2 post-game shows one day. Let's jump into it. Xavier in the house. What's up, Xavier? Always good to see you in the house, my friend. Let's jump right in. I want to get the Indy Kid's opinion first and foremost. He was out of town last week. Didn't get his comments on the Georgia game. So Indy Kid kicked this thing off. What were your thoughts?
It went about like I think we thought it would. I picked Tennessee to win last week. Sometimes you got to pump the crowd a little bit along the way. I thought they matched up well. I thought they would give Georgia more trouble than they did. First quarter was good. I don't know. After that, I think Georgia just bigger, stronger, faster, better took over. I mean, Tennessee drove deep in Georgia territory numerous times. I thought Hooker's decision-making was off at times. I thought he made some bad decisions. I thought there were some there was a couple play calls I was kind of questioning, but we haven't done that much this year, and that's easy to do against Georgia. But just more talent won out, and then you look at the defense against Georgia's offense, same problems again. If either side of the ball needs portal help the worst, it's the defense. There are some positions that badly need it. It's not an effort issue, but they need an upgrade in talent at numerous positions.
We kind of talked about effort. I don't remember if it was during the week or if Dauber and I talked about it in the post-game show, talking about at what point do we even stop bringing it up? And it's something that I've heard Eric Ainge talk about, and it should just be the expectation at this point from a Josh Heupel coach team. And maybe, if it starts to fall off moving forward, year 2, year 3, year 4, we can bring it back up and question it. But at this point, there is nothing to indicate that a Josh Heupel coach football team is ever going to lack effort.
Yep, I agree. And I'm with you. It shouldn't even be an issue at this point. But we've seen teams recently that was a question. So I think it's still a topic for now. I think probably when you get into next year, I don't think that'll be a topic. I mean, you've got South Alabama, Vanderbilt, and then what should be a bowl game left. I think that topic, that comment, hopefully won't be an issue next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we did see with previous staffs, you know, and I don't know if it comes down to the fact that you look at Pruitt. There was stuff going on in that locker room. There was tension amongst the coaching staff. I really think that as a head coach, he lost a lot of that team, and I think it had to do with the mismanagement of the quarterback position, number one. But you don't see that from Josh Heupel and this staff. You got guys like Matthew Butler and all the comments that he's making. Everything that you hear from these guys, it's, you know, we talked about it leading up to the season. And there was a lot of flack from people criticizing the program, criticizing Heupel coming in and kind of doing these group building things, these team building exercises, these leadership trainings. But if you look at this team, I think you've got to do that to have a team that's bought in and a team that is not going to give up. And they're all in it together and they're working as a cohesive unit. It's just that there's not enough talent in the stables right now to match up with some of these top tier teams.
I like the
people that
comments.
criticize that, though, they have no clue what they're talking about because you need that team building.
Oh, absolutely.
You need that bonding. You know, he mentioned that building relationships. You know, these people think they're too cool for this stuff. That's the people that throw off on it. But, you know, those players appreciated it.
Well,
and that's who gives a damn about the fans when it comes to building relationships and that standpoint. He did what he had to do.
Even players, that's the type of players that are going to kick it and hit the transfer portal.
Exactly.
When times get rough.
I think the key to the whole thing was it was authentic. And the fact that, you know, Heupel talked about coming in, sitting down and listening. That's something that it's a lost art. People don't listen. They come in, you know, compare it to the business world. A boss is going to come in and just tell you what to do. If I've been in a position for 15 years and you're coming in off the street and you're my new boss and you're going to just tell me what to do, no, come in, sit down, listen, let people talk and vent, and then we can figure out how we move forward. And like any kid said, that's why it was so crucial, man. Team building, relationships, it's huge. It is huge. And I love what Josh Heupel said after the game when that somebody in the media, it might have been Wes Rucker, I can't remember, somebody in the media tried to get him down that road of talent and not having enough talent. And Pruitt threw his team under the bus, right? Well, we'll either find somebody that does or we'll go recruit 25 more that will. Heupel didn't do that, man. He doubled down in defense of his guys, said, I'll go to war with these guys every single Saturday. These guys love to compete, and I'll go play football with them every single Saturday. And you don't think that fires up that locker room? You don't think that the guys in that locker room heard what Jeremy Pruitt said? And then what, 2 years later, he's having issues with guys buying in. It's legit. It matters. It's important. Like the Indy kid said, doesn't matter what the fans think. All that matters is that locker room. Let me hit these few super chats real quick. Billy H for 5 says, go Big Orange. Thank you, Billy, for the super chat. We appreciate that. Tyler Roberts for 5. Currently going to South Alabama. I get to make the trip up to UT this Saturday. Going to be a little divided on Saturday. Go Big Orange. Tyler, let me you sound, you're in college, young guy, young pup, got the world at your fingertips. Don't ever let an education get in the way of your love of sports. Go Vols, Tyler. Don't there's no divided. Go Vols. Evan Counts for 5. Thank you, Evan, for the super chat. Congratulations. I don't think you were here for the post game with me and Dauber. I don't remember. I know you got married the day before the game. Congratulations on your wedding. Good to see you back in the chat tonight. Evan for 5. Does Cade Mays have the super senior opportunity? And so y'all think he will surprise us and come back one more year? with his brother. I don't see it. Everything on Tennessee Prime. Evan comes back with another 5. Sorry for the grammatical errors working and typing. You don't have to throw another $5 at us to correct grammatical errors, but we appreciate it, Evan. I just don't see it. I don't see Cade Mays coming back. Every time he's on Tennessee Prime with Austin Price, who is really close with that family, and with Jason Swain, they kind of make little jokes about it being his last time through the T on senior night. And any kid, I don't see it. No way Cade Mays comes back.
No. Nothing to expand on. There's no way.
Yeah,
No way.
I don't see it. It's slim to none. He could have probably left prior to coming back here.
Yeah, it's kind of a surprise in a respect that he came back.
Yeah.
But I think his stock dropped a little last year. I don't see where he would benefit from coming back another year.
No. Whereas a guy like Hendon Hooker, I truly do think that he would benefit from coming back for another year. I think he's the guy that could elevate his draft status by coming back. And again, message board rumors, don't go nuts. Don't get mad. It's a listener of the show. He commented on the video when I talked about it. Tyon Evans, message board rumors that he is sitting out the rest of the year and also going pro. I don't see that. When I read that, and I probably shouldn't say this. This is probably terrible to say because it's just speculation. The first thing that crossed my mind was grade issues. And I don't know if that's why he went the Juco route, if it was grade issues, but I kind of questioned it. He has a daughter. Never fault a man for trying to make money to support his family, ever. But I don't know. But I think Tyon Evans and Hendon Hooker, the point of this what I'm saying is I think both of those guys would benefit by coming back for another year.
Absolutely. They're the type of guys that could play their way into a round or two higher than, possible free agent signing or late round pick with a breakout year. Evans particularly, I think the issues come to mind with him is, can he stay healthy? And I know high ankle sprain, that's a tough one to come back from. I've actually read a couple things that have questioned the legitimacy of that injury, but, it is what it is. Like we said, I think that in this system, in an offense that is where it's at, another year in that system and those guys putting up really solid numbers only serves to improve their stock and status.
I think everybody's kind of missing what the deal. Yes, he can benefit from it. What does next year's quarterback class look like compared to this one, though? He's a year older. I mean, he's basically a sixth-year guy if he comes back. I don't know what the crop looks like for next year. I know it's down this year. I was just seeing today Todd McShay had Pickett, number 1. He didn't even have Hooker on his top 10. I think Kuiper had Hooker 7th.
Yeah, Kuiper had him going like it would have been late 3rd, early 4th round, I believe, overall.
If that's the case, he's not coming back. He'd be crazy to come back. No, he's not going to benefit. He's not going to rate a guy who's a 6th-year senior is not going to raise his stock to a 1st or 2nd round pick out of this offense.
But we're talking Heisman candidacy.
Heisman means nothing to the NFL.
But if you're putting up good numbers, you can't tell me that somebody's going to, not say, okay, here's a 3rd round guy instead of a 6th round guy.
My question is going kind of agreeing with Dauber here is I think Hendon Hooker is going to have to answer a lot of questions in the NFL, and maybe he'll still have to answer them even if he comes back for another year. But it's going to be, is he a product of a system? They're going to look at what he did at Virginia Tech compared to what he did at Tennessee. And maybe this is me selling myself that Hendon Hooker needs to come back because I want him to come back. But I just think, like Dauber said, and maybe it doesn't matter, any kid, maybe it doesn't matter to the NFL, but I think you sell him, hey, you're coming back. We're immediately putting a Heisman Trophy campaign together for you. You know you're the guy. You got a full offseason in the system. He's only going to put up better numbers but on the flip side, you risk injury and losing it all. A guy that
I
is
agree.
already a fifth-year senior, got his degree, got everything he needs from college.
What it's going to boil down to, it's not whether he can win the Heisman. It's not whether he can put up bigger numbers. It's going to come down to, does he improve his draft stock by coming back a year? That's the whole question. I think that's the whole thing that's being missed here. Because, again, it may be a much stronger class next year, which, based on his age, is probably going to go against him. So is he better off going this year and being a mid-round pick, or is he better off coming back next year and maybe improving it? I don't know. Maybe he can, but I don't know how high he would be right now. He could definitely benefit from coming back, but again, I really think this being a weak class this year is going to play into his decision, and it may be one of those cases. It's a better year to go now than it is next year.
I want to come back to this because Derek Rogers has a good comment there. I want to come back and hit that. Oh, my goodness. My StreamYard is timing out and going crazy. I want to go back and get this super chat. Xavier Sanders for 5. Thank you, Xavier, for the super chat. We appreciate it. I'm going to the game this Saturday. Going to enjoy every second of being in Neyland. Go Big Orange. Xavier, I hope it is a blowout. I hope you see a lot of fireworks, a lot of offense. I hope it is a good Saturday for you. And enjoy the company you're with, man, because that's what makes games special. Derek Rogers says, if Hooker doesn't come back, where does that leave us next year?
Joe Milton
coming back, but you got to think Josh Heupel's going to go. I think he's going to the portal regardless for a quarterback, but it's going to open up the door, Dauber. If Hendon Hooker's gone, he's going to be able to sell some top-level talent. And when I say top level, I mean top level in the portal to come to Tennessee. They're going to see what he did with Hendon Hooker.
For sure. That's got to be an area that you look at regardless, because I've said it before. You're 2 snaps away right now from having a walk-on playing quarterback, and that's not a good position to be in. I don't expect Jackson to come in as a true freshman, and everything I've read, he needs to get into the nutrition program, into the strength and conditioning program, bulk up a little bit. And man, you've got to be something special to come in and play at this level.
In the SEC as a true freshman.
So if Hooker bounces, and like you said, Boogie, you can't fault somebody for trying to better their life. On the flip side of that, my question would be, does he want to play in games next year, or does he want to play on a practice squad? Because I think that's where it would boil down to. If he gets drafted, he's not starting in the NFL next year. I can almost guarantee you that. So it's going to be definitely a decision to make, and like I mentioned in the post game, I think he's got a head coach that has a little bit of experience and a little bit of knowledge about that whole process and about playing that position and all that. So hopefully he can rely on him, and I truly think that Josh Heupel will give him the best advice as an individual, not just as a football player.
John Hill for 5. Thank you for the super chat. John says, how many running backs you think we get from recruiting / portal for next year? Evans coming back would be awesome. He'd be a stud behind a good O-line. I also like Jalen Wright, man, has looked really good the last couple of weeks, whereas early in the year he struggled. But he's a young kid, man. He needs some time, needs to develop. I think he is a potential stud in that backfield. We heard a lot of hype behind him coming into the year, but like I said, he struggled early. So far, they have one running back committed, Dylan Sampson, 3-star out of Louisiana. Also, a lot of rumors. The name is skipping my mind right now. I was going to make a video about him, the kid from West Virginia.
Justin Williams.
Yeah, Justin Williams. He is committed to West Virginia. He's out of the state of Georgia. What is he, a 4-star? I'm just winging this right now.
24/7's game's a 3.
Okay. But he seems to have a good relationship with Jerry Mack. He was in town, was he not, Indy Kid? I should just let you talk because I'm throwing this at you. Wasn't he in town for the Georgia game? I do believe
he was. He
Okay.
was. Yeah, from what I've seen, they think there's a good chance they can flip him.
Yeah, a lot of momentum behind him. That's why I've been thinking about making a video, kind of spotlighting him, showing some tape and all that stuff. But what do you think, Indy Kid? You're the recruiting guru. I keep up with it a little bit. But you follow it more than I do. Where do you think they go with running backs?
I think Williams is one. They had Lynn J. Dixon in for the South Carolina game. I haven't heard anything else about that. But if Evans does leave, I think you got to eye the portal again. I don't know if he leaves or not. I think the NFL is going to question his toughness. He's missed a lot of games this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same with Small. I mean, Whitehead stayed hurt. I mean, Wright was hurt for a bit. I don't think I would hesitate to hit the portal for a running back. If Dixon's the guy or whomever, just because they've been so injured at that position this year.
And I hate to keep bringing this up about Tyon Evans, but I do keep seeing it, hearing it, and it is rumors. But if it is grades, if he can't handle the grades, can't handle school, he may go to the NFL, even if he goes undrafted free agent route, just to try to get to the league and earn that paycheck and support his family. And I wouldn't blame him for that. You just don't know. And they asked Josh Heupel about the injury. And he said, of course, we'll find out later in the week. And then he went on to say that he doesn't think that Tyon Evans is out for the year. So we'll see how that plays out. Another super chat here coming at the Indy Kid here. Drew Truesdale for $5. Thank you for the super chat. NFL doesn't care about the Heisman. Every Heisman quarterback since 2010 has went in the first round, with the last three being number one. Heisman winner. We're not saying that Hendon Hooker would win the Heisman, just that Tennessee should put together a Heisman campaign for him.
I mean, we could go both ways. I don't know. I'm probably an older guy. I remember plenty of these Heisman quarterbacks who weren't high draft picks. Maybe they are now, but the NFL is looking at their measurables. They're looking at their arm. They're looking at all these measurables on it. Yeah, these guys fit it. I mean, look at the programs they're coming from. I mean, they're coming from Alabama. They're coming from Oklahoma. I mean, these are NFL factory quarterback places that they're coming from. Well, doesn't mean that if Hooker comes back and win, again, he's going to be 23 or 4 years old.
At the end,
play an issue.
At the end of the day, there are 32 people in this country that start for NFL teams. Yeah. How many guys are leaving college this year? How many of those guys leaving college this year will be starting next year?
Probably none, because it's a weak class. I mean, Pickett and Matt Corral. There was somebody else that I saw mentioned in there. I can't remember who that was, but
yeah. And
it's a weak class this year.
You got to look at the top teams have their guys locked up. So
yeah,
it's going to be those fringe teams and the ones looking to start over and rebuild with a franchise guy. And if we're looking at the Tennessee situation, Hendon Hooker is not a franchise guy at this point in time.
No, he's a guy, you might take a 5th, 6th, 7th round flyer and it may work out for you. It's happened plenty of times before. The GOAT was a 7th rounder.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, who knows? I think, like you said, most of the teams this year, they've either got their guy or they're grooming someone. There's a couple of teams out there that need quarterback help in a bad way. But other than that, most of them, like you said, they've got their guy or they just drafted a guy that they're getting ready.
I think this is a good point. It was actually going through my mind as you guys were talking. A lot of times we compare Hendon Hooker to Josh Dobbs, and Dobbs not getting on the field in the NFL. So I think it would be more about, for me, Hendon Hooker come back, elevate his draft status, get that bigger payday. But again, maybe I'm just trying to convince him to come back because I want him to come back. Evan Counts for 5. Thank you for the super chat. What do y'all think about playing Penn State rather than Clemson so we can pay Franklin back for those 2 losses he served us at Vandy? Me personally, I want Clemson because of name recognition, even though, most people realize they're down this year, but I would still rather have Clemson personally.
I don't want Big Ten again. I'd rather play an ACC team. I'm sick of seeing, it seems like every bowl Tennessee's gone to recently, it's always a Big Ten team. Man, I want to see Clemson or a Miami or a somebody, North Carolina, somebody like that. Something a little more fresh than this boring Big Ten teams.
Go ahead, Dobber.
I was going to say, I agree. And like you said, name recognition right now with Clemson because of where Clemson has been the last 5+ years. You look at these young kids today and they're wearing, I'll go to softball games with my girls and the kids have on Alabama and Clemson hoodies and stuff. And you're like, man, come on. What connection do you have to that in East Tennessee? And I mean, I guess I get it with Clemson, but recruiting for me, it boils down to recruiting, and we're fighting against Clemson right now. And with them having a down year, being able to beat them, man, that does wonders for recruiting.
I would say I would like to get one back from 2003 when Clemson was trying to get their program going. Tennessee was still up.
Yeah.
And then Clemson beat them in the Peach Bowl.
Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, yeah.
Yeah, I want Clemson. And I think Tennessee can handle Clemson this year. Now, Tennessee's defense will probably make Clemson's offense look better than it's been, the way they've been going here recently. But still, I think that would be a good matchup. Yeah, somebody said NC State also. I forgot about them. That would be a good matchup also. But I love my dream. I've been on it for a while. Tennessee, Clemson, and Charlotte. That'd be because they would pack that place easily.
Oh, big time.
BS Osborne has become a member of the channel. Thank you for the support. You can also become a member of the channel. Hit that join button. It's right beside subscribe. If you're on an Apple product, you have to go outside of the YouTube app, go to the internet browser. You can join that way. Then you will have access. You got custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. You guys that are members know what to do. Drop them in the chat right now. Show those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis off. Let them know what they're missing out on. Basically, it's just a commitment to us and you saying you appreciate what we do. It's as little as 99 cents. If you want to give a little bit more, you can go $2.99. Number one, I try to highlight member comments, whether they're super chats or not. I try to put them on the screen throughout the show. Also, if we do tailgate shows, fan call-in shows, you guys will have access to come on and hang out. I think we're going to do one for South Alabama Indie Kid. I know we made a rule.
Yeah, the streak was broke. So
I didn't break a streak. I didn't break a streak. Are you talking about me going live before the game? Are you blaming the Georgia loss on me?
On you.
That was not a tailgate. That's the first comment that came through was, Boogie, we're not supposed to do these. It was not a tailgate show. That was a college football Saturday live stream.
I'm sitting in a diner in Hot Springs, North Carolina, having a tenderloin and egg biscuit, and lo and behold, here Boogie, grab a cup of coffee. We're going live. Just totally. Well, that game's shot today.
That was not a tailgate show. That was a morning. It was a morning cup of coffee show. I tried to get Dauber on, but I let him know like legit 10 minutes before I went live.
And I was having breakfast at Cracker Barrel.
I was gonna make a video, and I was like, man, I could just go live for 45 minutes, hang out, see what happens. Blame it on me. It's all my fault. Wayne Starnes says it's all my fault. It is what it is. I apologize. Let me do some quick business real quick. We got 215 people watching live right now. Do us a favor, hit that thumbs up. Helps the channel, helps the analytics. It feels like YouTube ghosted my video from this morning. If you didn't watch it, go back and watch it. Talking about the award for the best assistant coach in the country. And I think about 3 of you watched it the last time I looked. Nobody's watching it. Help the channel go watch that video after we get off air. But also you can support the channel. Go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. You can pick up the official merchandise of the Talkin VAWLS Network. You can see the different styles. Once you click on the type of shirt you want, you've got different color options. We've got hats, toboggans, water bottles, all kinds of stuff. You can see Dauber's got the Vol Hoops merchandise on tonight. You can pick that up as well. But any and all support, greatly appreciated. I say it all the time, but we're on that road to 10,000 subscribers. Once we get to 10,000, we'll also give away some free merchandise because we appreciate you guys supporting what we do. But like I said, go back, watch that video from earlier today. Also hit that thumbs up on this video. We would greatly appreciate it. Let's go take a question from one of our fans in the Facebook group. If you want to join, go to Facebook, search groups, look for Talkin VAWLS. You can come in, hang out, interact with at least two of us. Indy Kid boycotts Facebook. I should too. It's awful. It's a disaster, but whatever. Charlie Beasley over on the Facebook group says, can we get into the top 25 this year's recruiting class or top 20? Thanks. Looking forward to the show. Go Vols. I'm going to pull up. I've got the 24/7 2022 football rankings. Tennessee currently sitting at 31 right now. There are a few names out there. Obviously, the one everybody knows, Walter Nolan. We were talking a little bit earlier about Justin Williams, the kid from currently committed to West Virginia, Georgia running back. What do you think, Eddie Kid? You're the recruiting guru. You think Tennessee can get into the top 25, top 20, or do you think they're going to have to really go heavy in the transfer portal?
I think they can get into the top 25. I'm not sure about top 20. Walter Nolan's going to boost them a lot. I think there's other guys that they can get. And a lot of it's going, I believe, depend on them flipping guys. I think that's where now you've got Joshua Josephs. That would be a big pickup. Walter Nolan. I definitely don't think that Walter Nolan one's over. He was in Knoxville this past weekend. And he's supposedly still planning on taking an official visit in December. So that would be big for them. Michigan commitment, Cody Jones. Yeah, somebody mentioned it. A couple of people mentioned it in the chat. From what I'm reading, there's a good chance they can, or they think they've got a decent chance to flip him. He's a good-looking prospect. Justin Williams is one. You got James Pierce out of Charlotte, defensive lineman. He's been in Knoxville 3 times now. He's back this weekend. I know Georgia's after him. And then we'll see who else they can pull at that point. I think top 25 is possible. I don't know. I think top 20 may be stretching it, though. Just, I don't know, man. It's just a weird year in recruiting, and I'll give them a pass on it this year. But they need to be relentless on the trail. I've never seen Tennessee go this long without a commitment the way that it's been going. And it's been a long time, and I don't feel they've been visit heavy at their home games this year. I don't know if this is some new philosophy or things have changed just because they weren't able to visit until June, but I think they're going to have to get a lot more aggressive next year. And I know they're building with that. They've got those relationships with 23 and 24. I think those will pay off more, but I don't know, man. I feel something's been missing. I know they've had the cloud over them with the allegations. But I don't know, man. There's been some recruiters down there who were relentless. I think Garner is. I don't know if some of these guys are just learning SEC recruiting or what. I know they're getting hell negative recruited out of them. That's no secret. From Kirby Smart, Stoops at Kentucky, Beamer. Who knows who else? I would imagine Lane Kiffin. So we'll see. Hopefully, if this NCAA stuff out of the way, it seems like hopefully now they can finish strong here leading up to early signing day. If they add anybody, so be it. Hit the portal. But I want to see what this staff can do next year. There's still questions, and I think they're fair about their recruiting ability.
If the 2023 class looks like this one, then I'll be concerned. Right now, I'm giving them a pass just because of the investigation, because of the timing of the coaching change. Like that, they were behind schedule right out of the gate, right? because of all the stuff going on when Heupel came in. Just look at Ty Simpson. He never had an opportunity to build that relationship, whereas it seems like he is building relationships in the class of 23, the class of 24. But I'm going to reserve judgment till then.
One thing you can look at this staff, and even with the starting out kind of late in the game and all that, look at what they did in the transfer portal this past season. All the pickups they were able to get there, and that's why I think you look at 2022 and you go portal heavy. You have a couple guys you're eyeballing and trying to flip, and man, you hope your core group is coming back and has one year under the belt in this system, and then you add those pieces that you're sort of lacking right now.
Is that true? Do we know that to be fact? Justin Williams just decommitted?
I don't know. I'll pull it up, see if there's anything on, but
if so, there's a Justin Williams video coming bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So we'll see how that plays out. Let's continue to transition this thing forward. We've got a lot of good questions that came in. It's South Alabama week. We're going to make our predictions, so stay tuned for that. I don't think there's a whole lot of point to waste time talking about Georgia or even South Alabama. But what are you guys looking for? Dauber, I'll throw this to you while Indy Kid's looking that up. What are you looking for?
Decommitted. It happened. Sorry to interrupt.
Is it just recently, like within the last couple of hours?
Looks like it was Ryan Callahan posted it 2 minutes ago.
Oh, wow.
So, breaking news.
Our listeners are scrolling Twitter and listening to us at the same time. Die hard right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. But Dauber, what are you looking for the next 2 weeks? Tennessee, 4-touchdown favorite this Saturday. They're going to be a huge favorite against Vanderbilt. What do you want to see these next 2 weeks?
Injury free and finish out strong.
Foot on throat.
That's got to be a new T-shirt going into next season.
Man,
put your foot on their throat.
I want to see him. I'm not going to get into my prediction, but I'd like to see him run out of fireworks the next couple of weeks in Knoxville. I hope that the offense just rolls and is crisp, and I hope I'd like to see a little bit better play on the back end of the defense from the linebackers and the secondary. Moving forward, finishing out the year strong, and then rolling into a bowl game. That Saturday's big. Saturday's a huge game. South Alabama, should be a win. Your multiple touchdown favorite, but it's hard not to kind of get that, looking back in the mirror and things that have happened in the past. But this is a different staff, different team. We've talked about earlier, these guys don't quit. And I don't think that this staff is going to be ill-prepared for their opponent the week that they're playing. I think they'll go into this game, they'll have a game plan, and they'll look to do what they do and not let the opponent really dictate that. So I hope that they come out and lay it to South Alabama, and then get little brother from Nashville to close out
these guys. These guys right here put an absolute beating on Vanderbilt. If Tennessee doesn't put a beating on them, we got big time problems. Drew Truesdale for 5, confirming it. Justin Williams just decommitted from West Virginia. Tune in 8 a.m. tomorrow morning for a video highlighting Justin Williams, his film, his scouting report, and everything in between. Dauber, you mentioned better play in the secondary, better play at linebacker. I want to see some more run. I want to see Aaron Willis. We've really not seen him this year. Played quite a bit on special teams. I think he's played at least 5 or 6 games on special teams. And I want to see Kamal Haddon, and I want to see some Brandon Turnage. I want to see some guys get some run on Saturday that we've not seen so far. What about you, Indy Kid? What are you looking for these next 2 weeks?
Put your foot on their throat. That's just, I think it's a big week. This team has got a chance to be bowl eligible this week. That's a big deal, man, especially coming into the year. Like you said, there was pundits out there who said 3-4 wins. And you take care of business, 7 wins, possibly 8 with the bowl game. That's big, man. That's big. And the sucky thing about it is you can look back and there's 2 games. It's like, man, could have been going for 9 wins.
So hard not
possibly
to do that.
But, yeah, I want to see some guys. Yeah, I want to see some more guys at linebacker. I think the guys there, I mean, again, you know, this is something we won't have to talk about next year. The effort's there. They've got to have a talent upgrade at that position. They've just gotten killed by it. Secondary, I'd like to see more Haddon, more of Turnage. I'd like to see Christian Charles, which I'm not sure if he's still hurt or not. I'd like to see McDonald at safety. Safety play has been tough too.
I was thinking about you on Saturday in the post game. Flowers was awful.
He had a tough game, man.
Awful.
And I know they were high on. They beat Clemson out to get him, and he was supposedly a big baseball standout too. I guess he's not played or chose not to. And he's a guy I'm pretty sure who can come back next year. Would obviously benefit him too. I don't think everything's lost with him, but he struggled lately. Maybe he comes back and has that Nigel Warrior type resurrection next year. But I would like to see that. I would like to see. I don't know what they've got on the offensive line besides their main guys. I mean, you got a guy from Sullivan East who's your 6th or 7th guy. I mean, it is what it is. Defensive lineman. I want to see more pressure. I feel like Young and Barron are kind of your. Well, I don't know that you have
Butler's playing good too.
Butler's playing good. I don't know. I hope it's bad enough where we can get these young guys some reps. And I'm with you. Those particular 2 positions, I would like to see your Aaron Willis, your Charles, your McDonald, your guys like Turnage. I don't know why we haven't seen Turnage more. That one kind of baffles me a little bit. What's going on there?
We've talked about it to death. I just don't understand. We all know Theo Jackson can play safety. Why is Turnage not playing star and Jackson playing safety? I just don't.
It seems like they're going with Slaughter when Jackson's not in. Slaughter is technically a safety also. So, I mean, why could we not run Jackson and Slaughter at safety to see how they do a little bit? I mean, they sure as hell can't be any worse.
No.
I hate to say that, but I mean, I think those guys are better than they've been playing, but they've been playing. They've had a rough few games. So maybe it's the quality of opponent. Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, those teams can make you look bad for sure. But Kentucky did too, which I didn't see coming.
Alex Cole for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Alex says, what about that number 1 Juco player, defensive tackle, Jeffrey? How do you say that? Mabah? We after that big man too. He's at Independence. Big. He's at Independence. Is he the number 1 Juco player? I believe so.
24/7 has him as the number 1. I'm pretty sure they said number 1 overall. Maybe I misread it and it was number 1 defensive lineman. But I think he was number 1 overall.
Just now. Yeah, I just pulled it up. He's number 1 overall.
6'6", 305. Take those guys all day long.
Yep. And again, man, and it's why you talked about Walter Nolan earlier and it not being over with Rodney Garner in the game. Same for this kid, man. Who do you want to play under? A guy that's going to put you in the league? Rodney Garner's going to put you in the league. He's going to put a lot of money in your pocketbook if you come play for him, man. And how many times did Rodney Garner sneak in and steal somebody from Tennessee at the last hour? How many times? Walter Nolan recruitment is not done. It is not done. It ain't going to be done until pen hits the paper. Don't sweat it. I'm not even thinking about it. What?
I mean, how many times was Tennessee looking good
Yep.
And he's gonna take one last visit to Auburn. And it's like, oh my gosh. And more times than not, when he went to Auburn, they stayed at Auburn.
Yep.
At numerous times. Thank goodness he's on our side.
I was going to say, and now he's on our side. Claude Petty for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Our safety play has been terrible since week 1. Slow and bad instincts. Makes you respect that Tim Banks defense even more. You know, the video I made this morning talking about him being nominated for the best assistant coach in the country, what he has done, some of the stats you read off with this defense. And, you know, I talked a lot about in that video, the eye test, and you can look at numbers and points per game and all that stuff. Sometimes you got to use a little common sense and use the eye test and look at circumstances. And you're talking about 100 plays against Kentucky, 100 plays against Alabama, Ole Miss. That defense is on the field a lot. And that defense also is giving this team an opportunity to win. Blitz 621 for 5. Thank you for the super chat. If you were Heupel, what do you tell the team before the South Alabama game? Put your foot on their throat. Put your foot on their throat.
Put your foot on their throat and don't let off. Win this one, you are going to the bowl. Think it's a big deal.
Take care of business.
Yeah, I mean, it's Andy, you said it over and over and over. This is the opportunity to get bowl eligible. That's why, like, I mean, we've got 250 people watching, which is still crazy for us. 3 dudes sitting in their office talking Tennessee sports. It's crazy. But overall, the fan base seems to kind of just be like, whatever. It's a huge opportunity. We're talking about a team that people said was going to win 3 to 4 games, and they have an opportunity to win 7. That's why the name of the stream is 7 wins or bust. Let's get to 7 wins, an opportunity to win 8 in the bowl game. That is a huge success for Josh Heupel in year 1. Huge.
Big time.
Yeah. I mean, it's
let's bleed it into next year.
Itself.
I want to hit one more question from the Facebook group, then we'll go into our predictions. But Patrick Bugg says, what are the goals for next year, realistically, considering recruitment, transfer portal options, etc.? We've done this before, but I'm going to do it again. I'm going to pull up the schedule for next year because I think the schedule sets up nicely. So let's talk about our expectations for 2022 after Josh Heupel has overachieved in year 1. Let's look at this schedule. Indy Kid, what are your expectations for next season?
It's hard for me to answer because I don't know what the roster is going to look like. You still got, I mean, you know for sure who you're losing as super seniors. But then you've got Hendon Hooker, Cade Mays, Alante Taylor, Jerome Carvin. A part of me wonders is Cedric Tillman playing his way into. I haven't seen him listed right now. When I looked at McShay's rankings, no Vols were in any of his top 10s, any positions. So maybe Tillman's back next year. But man, I was trying to pull the roster up here to see. It's really hard for me to answer. It's a favorable schedule. I like the schedule, but the question is, what's this offensive line going to look like?
Mm-hmm.
What's this defensive line going to look like? What's this linebacking core? What's the safeties? What's the secondary? Man, I really feel I feel next year may be an even bigger job than this year. But one good thing about it is that schedule is a bit more favorable. I do believe. Who they got? Let me hit this from
Evan counts real quick for 2, talking about South Alabama. Don't do what Florida did last week with Sanford. Thank you, Evan, for the super chat. Go ahead, Indy Kid.
LSU. Okay. So you're going to be facing LSU with a new coach, whomever that is. Not going to be easy.
Florida could have a new coach.
Florida could have a new coach. I don't know. We'll see. I think if Florida State beats them, you might get the moving vans ready.
But do you think if they bring Dan Mullen back that the team is going to buy in next year? They've checked out this year. That's a tough set. You've said it, I think, in our group text. We need Dan Mullen to stay. Really.
And that's I mean, Dan Mullen's a good coach, but just something is off with him at Florida. It's just off. I mean, he doesn't, because you think about it, Tennessee hasn't beaten Dan Mullen, but he's not, I mean, his recruiting classes, if you compare him to what, like Meyer, Ron Zook, Muschamp did, Zook and Muschamp couldn't coach. Urban Meyer could. You get another guy at Florida. I mean, if you got a Lane Kiffin, for example, if you got him, you got I mean, who knows? You get the right guy at Florida, that's not what we want. And I don't.
Lane Kiffin would be bad for Tennessee.
And while I think Mullen, I do think he's a good coach. I don't think he's. Like Jimbo, he's a quack. He's an absolute kook. And when you're making a comment about, well, it's something about recruiting season, yeah, we need him at Florida when you're saying that. Because a top-notch coach would light up the state of Florida recruiting, especially with everybody down right now, and he's not doing that.
Robert, when you look at that schedule, what do you see? Because what just happened? The first thing that sticks out to me is, yes, LSU, immediately you think tough game. Florida, tough game. Tennessee could realistically start off 5-0. They could.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like to Indy's point, it's a tough thing to speculate. Like we started at the top of the show. Does Hooker come back? That's a big question. Where's this offense going to be?
But let me play devil's advocate, and let's look back to this past year, going into 2021.
Right.
Look at everybody that bailed, and look at how good of a job Josh Heupel did in the transfer portal,
and getting the most out of what he's got.
I think he can do it again.
Here's what you're losing. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Donovan.
I was just going to say, looking at that Pitt game, it's on the road.
I like that game. I like that game.
To me, it shapes up a whole lot better than this year did, because you're not facing a Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback. Florida, like we just said, that could be. There's all kinds of questions in Gainesville right now. LSU is going to have a new coach. UT Martin should be a win. Kentucky, we talked about that Kentucky week. We're in their head. Georgia, I think, will be another tough game. Bama will be a tough game. Missouri, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. Those are November games. We should close out November like Tennessee closes out November.
Let's look at this schedule the way we looked at the schedule going into this season. How many games are toss-ups and how many games are guaranteed losses? I think the only guaranteed losses on that schedule are Alabama and Georgia. Everything else is winnable. Tennessee could win 10 games next year. Realistically, they could win 10 games next year.
Agree.
LSU and I can't tell. Is LSU and Knoxville?
It's on the road.
Baton
on the road.
It's Baton Rouge.
It's gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be a tough game.
It's a hostile environment for sure.
Yeah, I mean they've won down there before. I just look at the roster. You're losing Jaquan Blakely, Bumpus, Matthew Butler. That's 3 defensive linemen. Calvert, I'm not sure if he can come back or not. I can't remember if he's a super or not. Carvin can come back. I think Princeton Fant is a super. Trayvon Flowers can come back. It probably should come back. Kenneth George is a super. Hooker can come back. Theo Jackson is a super. Valus is a super. Cheyenne LaBruzza, I'm not sure. I'm not sure there. Cade Mays, I can't see him coming back. Solon Page, I'm pretty sure, is a super. Javante Payton is a super. Let's see who else. Aubrey Solomon, super. Alante Taylor can. I don't see it happening. Caleb Tremblay, he was a super. He was a one and done.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your seniors. Other than that, a few of those guys can come back. Other than that, everybody can come back. Do they? You're always going to have attrition. It's going to happen every year. You're probably going to lose some guys. It doesn't matter. You're going to lose some guys you probably don't want to lose along the way also. But how do they do in the portal? I don't think a lot of these guys that are recruited for this year are being recruited to come in and make immediate impacts.
Right.
There's some nice players in this class. I really think so, but I think a lot of them may need some development. You'll have some guys that will come through and make contributions. We said it, that portal is huge for Tennessee. And there's not just one or two places that you can pinpoint on it. You could realistically, with this portal and what Tennessee's going to be doing, you could realistically add at every position.
Yep.
Through the portal. I just don't know how high they can go.
Well, that's Boogie and I were kind of going back and forth and talking about the portal a little bit and just some guys that are available. And I pulled up as we were talking before we went live, and just since November 1st, so you're a little over 2 weeks, there have been 5 guys from Miami enter the portal.
Oh, really? And Diaz isn't even fired yet.
One is a junior wide receiver who was a former top 50 recruit. You got a junior safety who was a former 4-star. And you've got a senior linebacker who had 39 tackles and 3 sacks last year. We've talked about LSU, USC, Florida State, Virginia Tech now. A lot of – and that's 2 weeks still left in the season. There are going to be other coaches get canned. There are going to be other guys who decide, like Javonte Payton. I want to go look elsewhere. I want to close out my year somewhere else. And how attractive is this offense as a wide receiver, as an athlete, to come in and play in such a high-tempo, explosive offense? Alabama. There was a guy early this week.
Wide corner, receiver. Wasn't it?
I think
wasn't there a corner also?
Wide receiver and I think a freshman cornerback. There are people out there. The big thing with the portal, it's sort of course, recruitment in and of itself.
Yeah,
guys that sign with you, it's all a gamble. Do they pan out? Do they fit in the system? Some guys get to college and just they can't handle it. They can't handle the grades. They can't handle school itself. They can't handle the speed of the SEC. So it's one of those things. I think this staff, they do have a tall task ahead of them. But based on what they were able to do this year, coming in late to the game, I think that they can use the portal to their advantage.
Yeah, and like Alan V said, Miami's AD fired. That's not good for Diaz. And then what's the what's the effects going to be? Who's going to go to LSU? What coach is leaving? If Riley did leave Oklahoma, I can't see it, but if he did, here's Oklahoma players. It's probably, of course, some of them would fall into LSU, but there may be guys available. If Franklin leaves Penn State and takes away his job, probably going to be players there. Mel Tucker, if he leaves Michigan State, which I think I saw something where they're offering him like 10 years, $95 million.
Somebody just put that in the comments earlier. Said they
I had seen it.
Huge contract.
I had seen it earlier as well. I mean, if I think there's a chance Fickle leaves Cincinnati and goes to USC because USC's AD is the guy who hired him at Cincinnati. So you got to think there's that familiarity. Of course, he is a Midwest guy.
The bottom line is this is the new college football. This is what's going to happen every single offseason, and you're going to have to be able – you're going to have to – number one, it starts with your own players. You're going to have to recruit your guys back. Then you're going to have to recruit guys in the portal, and you're going to have to recruit guys in high school. It's the new college football.
Yeah.
Let me get caught up. Let me get caught up on Super Chats, then we'll go into our predictions for this Saturday. Travis Adair for 5 with a laughy face. As you guys are in trouble, South Alabama dominated Butch Jones, and Vanderbilt is higher than Florida. in this week's power rankings. I'm just joking. Thank you, Travis, for the super chat. We appreciate it. Goodness gracious, my StreamYard is struggling. Blitz 621 for 5. Thank you for the super chat. If the Oklahoma job comes open, if Riley leaves, does Heupel leave? He's got bad feelings with Oklahoma after getting fired, right?
My understanding is his relationship with Oklahoma has pretty much been non-existent since he was fired as offensive coordinator.
I think they would probably have other guys, but I've thought about that too. That's interesting about his relationship with them, though.
Yeah. And he talks about Tennessee being a destination job and all that stuff, plus his relationship with Danny White, but you never know. You never know. Evan Counts for 2 says, we need speed. Yes, that Georgia game was an eye-opening experience at the linebacker position.
Always.
Holy cow.
Always.
And running
everywhere.
back.
Everywhere.
And running back. Yeah. Good Lord. Running back, linebacker, safety, all over the field. We got 300 people watching. If you have not done so yet, please smash that thumbs up. We got 174. Let's get it over 200. We would greatly appreciate it. It does help the channel. If you're watching and you're a boomer, if you're like 60 and you're like, what? I don't even know how to do that. You just got to have a Google account. Make sure you're signed in. Then you can hit that thumbs up. Also, I'm going to plug my stuff again because I'm so disappointed in the views for my video this morning. Go back, check out the video I posted this morning talking about Tim Banks and that Tennessee defense. I know it's advertised as him getting nominated for an award, but I break down a lot of numbers on the defensive side of the ball. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out here in about 5 minutes after we go off air. Probably going to do a video on Williams in the morning. Any kid, you got anything coming out or just going into Saturday post-game show?
I've had a hard time finding anything really with basketball other than just, I could make Kennedy Chandler videos all day long. Maybe
that
I
video
need to
did pretty good. That did pretty good.
Maybe I need to take notes out of the Joe Milton playbook and make a bunch of Kennedy Chandler videos here.
Well, the difference is people like Kennedy Chandler. They just yelled at me over Joe Milton. But I don't know if that'll work out for you or not.
We'll see if we can amp some stuff up. Yeah, it's kind of early on basketball right now, and there's not been anything recruiting wise really going on. But hopefully that'll amp up. It'll definitely amp up this weekend. It feels like we're gonna be on Talkin VAWLS all weekend. So
that's what John Hill's advertising here with us. Thank you for the $5 super chat to plug our show. Says, man, something is wrong. I'm going to see you guys more Saturday than my family. Basketball and football shows. Let's go Big Orange.
Aren't they playing Sunday also? Basketball? Yeah. They play the North Carolina or Purdue. So
I didn't know that. I thought there was a few days between. All right.
Saturday, Sunday.
So we'll I'll just throw a blanket and a pillow down here and wake up and get ready to go live, I guess.
So tune in for the basketball post-game show Saturday, football post-game show Saturday. It's going to be a late one, man. It's going to be late night Talkin VAWLS. It'll be a rough one. And then Sunday post-game show again for basketball. Make sure you guys are subscribed. We're trying to get to 10,000. Once we do, we'll throw some free merchandise your way. Let's go ahead and jump into the picks. South Alabama this Saturday, 7:30 p.m. kickoff inside of Neyland Stadium. You can watch it on ESPNU if you've got that. If not, you can message me on Facebook like Toby Farley looking for some sketchy links to watch it. I'm sorry I don't know any, Toby. I'm sorry. Tennessee favored by 4 touchdowns, over under set at 62. I'm just gonna throw my pick out here early. South Alabama is struggling on offense after Jake Bentley went down. They're living on their defense. There ain't no way their defense is stopping Tennessee, period. I'm not concerned at all. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Tennessee has the over covered all on their own. Tennessee 63, South Alabama 7. It is an ass whooping inside of Neyland Stadium. What you got, Indy Kid?
Man, I thought I was going to be the one that popped it on that. I'm going 60 also. I was saying we're finally hitting 60.
We hit 62 against Missouri.
That's right. They did, didn't they?
Yeah.
I'll go 65-21.
Wait a second here. Nate, you still in my pick?
I think both of you saw my notes. I got 63-3. Like you said, Boogie,
Good Lord have mercy.
after Jake Bentley goes down, South Alabama is on the struggle bus offensively. I just think this team is going to roll. They're going to get bowl eligible. Big day in Knoxville for the Volunteers. I think you're going to see a lot of guys get some playing time, and I think that's going to be good.
Has Jake Bentley not been down there for at least 10 years? And
Good
he's
Lord,
probably
it seems like it.
he's probably a COVID sophomore. I mean,
He's got 4 years of eligibility left.
yeah, God.
Well, he played it as a true freshman, didn't he, at South Carolina?
Yeah, he beat Tennessee, did he not? Was that not – that was kind of the undoing of Butch Jones that game.
Well, I think that's going to wrap it up. I couldn't put some of these picks on the screen because I had to block an ignorant Georgia fan that's just an absolute moron. I love engaging with other fan bases, people like Alan V, Troll Patrol. We got some Alabama fans that are cool. After the post-game Saturday, I walked upstairs and I told my wife, I said, Georgia is the absolute worst fan base in the country. It was awful. The post-game show was a nightmare. They were absolutely ridiculous. They can't come in and have a civil conversation. Just absolute idiots. Absolute idiots. They are the worst fan base in America. Xavier Sanders for 5. Thank you for the super chat. I say Tennessee is favored by foot on their throats. Crush their windpipes. Plus, I'll be there live. Go Big Orange. We're going to have to put out a shirt, Indy Kid. It's catching on. Foot on their throats is catching on. We're going to have to put out a shirt. That's going to wrap it up for this one. If you're catching this on the replay, or even if you're in the live chat and you want to come back, leave a comment. Put your predictions in the chat. Love to see them. And just one last final plug. Go back, watch my video from this morning. I would appreciate it. YouTube hates me apparently, or either that or you guys just thought the video sucked. I don't know, but that's going to wrap it up for this one. One last reminder, live show Saturday, post-game show for basketball, post-game show for football. It's going to wrap it up. He's Dauber. Oh, not going to wrap it up. Evan counts for 5. Says Toby Farley, if you're still in the chat, stream eastlive.com. You can watch your football illegally. Well, we don't support that. We don't condone that. Allegedly, that's where you can go watch it. But that is going to wrap it up for this one. He's Dauber. He's the Indy Kid. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
The songs, how